Hello.
What's going on, Prince?
How's it, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good, man. Yeah, this is
Doing
it,
good.
bro.
This is it.
This is it, man.
That's wonderful.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. On call with Danile. This is a show where I call interview artists, influencers, people who make changes and just keeping the dreams alive. And right now, my guest is no other than Prince, man. Prince, I met Prince. We started together at AFDA. Yeah, man, we come a long way. We have a lot to talk about right now, man. Prince, welcome to the show,
Definitely.
bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Respect,
Yeah,
man.
can't wait
Respect.
to definitely. Can't
To
wait
get
to
into
unpack what we got.
Respect, man, bro. Tell the people who you are, bro. Tell them who you are.
Okay, cool. So my name is Prince Sigudu. Was born in Zimbabwe.
Yes, sir.
Grew up there for about 10 years and moved to Cape Town in 2009. There we go. Then I've been here. So I've been here for a couple of years now, over a decade. So yeah, going strong, man. Going strong, going strong. And what do?
Yes,
I'm an
sir.
artist. I'm an artist, and I've been drawing since I was born, basically. It all started when I was in primary school,
Yes.
doodling stuff, and then along the way, along the road, I started like changing things up, looking at what other artists are doing and sort of like trying to do my own technique, develop my own style and stuff. And it's been going strong since then.
Yes, sir. So
You
were
know?
you also one of the artists, like in high school, that liked to doodle at the back of their books, like when you have
Uh-huh.
your writing books, and like say for instance you have nothing to do and you just sketch at the back of your book.
Started doodling.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. I was that kind of kid, man, who was always drawing stuff in the book. Like, let's say the teacher's out of the class and there's nothing to do, I'd always end up like drawing stuff. In my book, all my books, man, are all full of drawings, and doodles and pencil sketches and anime stuff. Because I always watch anime.
Yes,
So I
sir.
always end up drawing like your Gokus and like Frieza, all those anime characters, and just having fun and honing my skills.
Most
And
definitely,
taking
man.
the opportunity anytime I get. Yeah, so yeah, I was that kid, definitely.
So
That kid.
if somebody were to ask you right now,
Yeah.
what would you say are you? Are you an artist? Are you a sketcher? Are you a painter? What's that one title that you would go by if somebody asked you, yo, what do you do?
What do I do?
Yes.
Oh, that's actually a hard question, man, because I do quite a lot of things.
Yes,
so
sir.
I can't just put it. I can't put it in one word, because if I say artist, you can, an artist can be a musician, an
Yes.
artist can be a painter,
Yes.
it can be a pencil artist. So I'll break it down to a couple of things. So, because I do digital illustrations as well. So I'm an illustrator, and I also do photography. And photography is also a form of art. So,
That's
so I
incredible.
can't pick
Man.
one per se. I can't really pick one. So I can just give you like titles of what I do. Then you can decide for yourself who this guy really is. Because from my side, I'm just this is the best way to explain it. I'm a content creator.
Hey,
Content
that's what I
creator.
am, man.
Very good. Create content.
Yes, sir. Multi-talented. And that's the only way I was thinking about it. I'm like, yo, I'm a musician, artist. Okay, I do motivational. What am I? Like, how do I define this? How do I put this in like one umbrella? To easy explain it. I was like content creator. At first, I was like content producer. Then I was like, no, wait. I'm a creative. So I create. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
A creative, definitely. A
Great.
content creator, creative. Because you can't box yourself as one thing, because an artist, we don't work like that, we can't box ourselves, we work out the box, not in it. So we're content creators or creatives in a way, because we can spread, our horizons
For
further
real,
than
man.
our own imagination. So yeah.
For real, man. And has this pandemic and this worldwide crisis affected any of your craft? Is it affecting spending time with your dreams, spending time with your talents?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really taking? How has this worldwide crisis affected you in any way, or has it?
Yeah, it has affected me, well, not that much, but only affected me a little bit, in terms of like finding a way to relax or, freshen up. Because let's say after I draw something, I'd want to go out and just like refresh my mind and get some inspiration. But in this case, you're pretty much stuck, in one place. This was like during the lockdown.
Yes,
but now
sir.
it's a little bit better because we can actually go out and,
Yeah, level 4.
take a walk and stuff. So I wasn't really affected that much because, my work literally happens at home. It's like a home studio where I'm doing everything there. So I really didn't have to go anywhere. So I wasn't affected as much. In fact, I actually got more time to actually do what I love, because this time I had no excuse to go anywhere. So I was like, I might as well continue drawing and illustrating, even animating as well. So I just continued like doing what I liked. So the pandemic really didn't affect me that much,
Yes, sir.
I think, the only way I would say it affected was, not being able to just go out and just stretch your legs, that's all. But that's like the effect that it had on everyone because, everyone was like stuck in their houses and couldn't go anywhere. So I would say the effects that it has were sort of like mutual in terms of like everyone else. But in terms of my work, no effect whatsoever, no
Question.
effect. Because, yeah.
Question. So, like,
yeah.
most artists right now are wondering, there are no events happening. We cannot fill up the dome. We cannot go and do live performances and stuff like that. So some artists, they haven't blown up on the internet yet. What are some of the ways that artists can, make money? And what are the advice that you would give to artists who are struggling and want to make a living right now during this time? And from what you are doing, like, are you getting any revenue or are you just doing it for the love of the passion?
It's a little bit of both, love and revenue at the same time. The best way I would put it is like, you need to get connections, and connection is the big thing, because if you're not connected to the people who are like in the industry of art, it's going to be a little bit harder for you.
Yes, sir.
But at the same time, it's also hard to get connected. So the best way is to boost portfolio and get yourself out there, go online, post your stuff, and like increase your portfolio so that everyone can see. Tag, those big artists, go on Instagram, look for big artists who are doing their stuff, who are making it big as well. Tag them into your stuff, and that way they'll sort of like notice you and say, oh, this guy or this kid is doing something great. Let's just like give him a little bit of exposure as well. So, so your social media presence, needs to be big. That way you can sort of like make it big. But it's also hard, man, like to make it in the world of art because there's a lot of competition there, and you have to make sure that you keep your content authentic,
Yes,
because
sir.
Nowadays people tend to like do the same things, and the one person who did it first is the one who's getting, the big bucks, and the guys who sort of like come after, will be seen as like, copycats or the ones who are like replicating and stuff. So the
that's
almost
so
like
true,
definitely. So it becomes hard, for the guys who are like struggling or who are starting out, when you copy, or it's not like copying, because in art you can't really come up with something new. You can't say I'm coming up with something, but you can modify. You can modify stuff that's
innovative,
stuff, innovative ways of like doing stuff, and not let the big guys who did it first get the credit for the stuff. Yeah, because sometimes you can create like an artwork, and then someone says, oh, I've seen that style before, and they recognize the people who did it before, and they won't recognize you. So it's best to keep your stuff and style content
authentic,
as possible. But your online presence needs to be big. That's the quickest way you can make it big as well, and sort of like approaching those big companies as well. For example, for an artist kind of point of view, I would say big companies like, let's see, even Adidas, they do like clothing, right? Clothing art.
Yes.
So you can approach them and see if they're interested in some of your content. You can approach Nike. You can approach all like these big companies that are into clothing, because nowadays art is going on clothes, and that's what I'm doing as well sometimes, all my spare time to, paint on clothes, and it actually works well. It's going pretty good, So
how expensive? How expensive are your artwork? Do you have prices on your artworks already, or no?
My artwork. Of course. So Yeah, I do have like price on the artworks, but it depends on what type of artworks it is that you like looking for. Because I do like a variety, you know.
Yes.
For example, I get like you get your illustrations, you know, your digital stuff. Like you can like put multiple copies of the same thing, which makes it like not as expensive because you only do it once. But then you get to the traditional way of doing things like painting and then pencil. You know, you can only make one copy, so those
Yeah.
ones are a little bit more pricey and expensive because it's one of a kind. You know, it
Yes,
can't
sir.
be done the second time because second time around it will be different. It won't be like as original because you know the first time is the best way to go. So the hands-on type of things like sculpting,
Yes.
painting, drawing, those ones, you know,
Yes,
those
sir.
are going to be a little bit pricey and also depends on the amount of detail you're putting into your work and how long it takes you as well. So yeah,
So at
that's
what
how.
point? At what point um, can an artist decide that okay, from this point onwards, I am going to
Yeah.
charge people? Like, at what level do you need to be in order to make your prices? How do you get to that
At
level?
what level?
Yes.
Ooh, that's quite a hard one, you know, because artists have got styles, different styles. For example, you know, you need to get to a point where when people see your artworks, they
Yeah.
can't see a fault in it. You know, when
Mm.
they can't see a fault, the way they'll be like, okay, this is good. When they see artworks and they don't say something like, yeah, it's good, but when there's no but in their comments after seeing your artworks, that's when you know you have done it. You know, so you have to make sure you're at that level and practice as hard as you can. You know, practice, practice, practice. Because I know I had to, you know, to master my style in pencil. I had to make sure I draw every single day for about a year and a half, every day
Yeah,
drawing, you know, until my hand was cramping, you know. That's how I got that ultra realistic style of drawing, you know, where people are always like, how did you do that?
yes,
How do
sir.
you need to get those questions where people are asking you, how did you do that? So when
Oh,
you get
wait a second.
Mm.
On that point, this is so amazing.
Yeah.
When they ask, how did you do that? Do you then, at that point, go, okay, this is how much I charge? Or do you go, okay, this is how you do it, this is how I did it? How do you tell a person from that point? Because obviously you've been practicing this thing, you've been doing it for
Yeah.
so long,
Yeah.
and now somebody's asking you, how do you do it? And
Yeah.
they probably they probably want their information for free. Do you then charge them
Yeah.
there, or do you tell them how you did it?
I don't recharge them or like do anything because even if I tell them, there's nothing they can do with the information because they can't replicate what I can do. You know,
Oh,
you need to get to a point where no one can replicate your stuff. You know,
wow.
once you're there, it doesn't matter even if you show. Of course, I don't tell them. I just show them how I do it.
Wow.
Simple. I just show them. Because if you try to tell them, they get confused as to, okay, I don't know what you just said. Because if I try to explain to you that I alternate pencils, work in layers, and do that, it'll become like a complex, you know, type of answer where they'll get confused. So instead of just telling them, I just show them by giving them like what you call it, or like a video sequence or a time lapse of how I actually start and how I finish.
Yes, sir.
Make it as simple as that. I'm like, that's how I do it. Any more questions? So they can actually see, okay, that's the start, that's the end. Okay, this is really good. Then they start to ask how much. They're the ones who usually ask, how much do you charge for this? I don't really have to tell them how much I'm charging. I don't really do that. Because you need to make sure that your artworks speak for themselves, you know, and not for you to speak for your artworks in a way. So, yeah.
So in other words, if I'm not mistaken, when people go, okay, how much do you charge? And then you go, how much do you think it's worth? Because I watched the movie, incredible movie by Kevin Hart. I think it's called the upside down of the upside, and that was quite interesting based on this conversation that we're having now. And this one guy was asking this other guy, who paint this picture, and how much does it cost? This other guy was like, well, how much do you think it's worth? And that was like incredible to see the answer, man.
Yeah, that's true. Because you need to make sure that you know, the customers or the client themselves decide how much your artwork is worth. You know?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Because sometimes you can put a price on your artwork, and then you end up getting surprised to find out that the client actually thinks of a much higher price for your artwork. So, like, let the client decide the price themselves, because sometimes you end up like downgrading your artwork and not realizing how much it's actually worth, you know. Because sometimes you can say, okay, my artwork is like, let's say, R1, but then a client comes in there and they're seeing 100 Rand type of artworks, you know. So you let them like make the choice of how much worth your artwork is, you know.
Yes,
So
sir.
sometimes we end up getting into the zone of business where you just lose that passion of actually art. Then you just start putting prices on everything, and you know, you lose that interest and that passion, that spark you had when you started, you know. Yeah, you need to like make sure that what you do doesn't become business oriented, you know, but also passion and business at the same time, because you also need to make a living out of it. But it's really hard, but you have to like keep on going and going. And also the other thing which you can do to make sure that you get your work out there is sort of like look at galleries, you know, openings, and when they're doing like exhibitions, you know, in town, and those, especially like on first Thursdays, going to galleries and ask them how you would like how the process goes of exhibiting your work there. I think you actually have to pay as well. A fee. But like, that's a good way, but also a good way to expose yourself. But that's the thing, and you actually need to
get exposure.
And also some form of revenue to make sure that you can actually pay for the galleries to exhibit your stuff. But
that's
on the other side, but that's why as an artist you need to make sure that you're like multi-talented. You need to make sure that you got something else on the side. You know, let's say if you're just a painter, you need to make sure that you also do something else to make sure that that income is constantly flowing in and not just focus on one thing, because you know sometimes it doesn't always work out the way you want.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to make sure that there's always something, you know, like a backup or a triple backup. Because I always have like plan B, C up to E, you know, making sure that I keep on like going on the same track, you know, without losing my goal, but also making sure that I'm bringing in some income constantly as well. So
yes, sir.
Yeah,
So would you say that your art and talent has changed from where you are, from where you're from, compared to like where you are right now? Because right now you're in South Africa, right? And how much different is it, or is it hard, or did it become easier to do artworks today than it was back then?
Yeah, it's actually much easier now, because like in Zimbabwe, there's not much of an exposure in terms of art, you know. So the presence of art there, art and recreational stuff, isn't that strong. So it's actually harder there to get your stuff out, you know. But here it's actually much easier because there's a whole lot of galleries and art conventions which you can go to, you know, places where you can meet other artists and get yourself some exposure, you know. So here it's actually much easier because there's more opportunities where you can sort of like get your stuff out there. But at the same time, you need to work hard at that stage, you know, where your art is actually worth exhibiting, and the skill and the time of everyone else is going to be viewing it as well. So here it's actually much easier, and I've actually improved a whole lot more here because I'm surrounded by artists who are so different from me, because in them, it's almost everyone did pretty much the same thing, you know, because I did pencil art, and almost like the majority of people did pencil art or chalk. It's very similar, like a similar medium. But here, people do a whole lot of stuff. People paint with coffee. People paint with like watercolor and oil paint.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah. So here I got exposed to a lot of techniques, which I started to incorporate for my own stuff as well. Then I started like developing new styles, like in digital illustrations. Started to incorporate my photography as well in an artistic style, and not doing like, you know, your normal simple photography. I started putting like a style or a uniqueness into my photography at the same time, and also a transition to animation, you know, to making sure that my artworks are actually moving, you know, artwork. So I started like playing around with ideas, you know, and before I knew it, I was doing quite a lot of things, and to make sure that income is constantly coming in, and not, you know,
stagnant.
Get stuck.
Yeah,
stagnant.
Champ, what's next for Prince? Like, where is Prince? Where do we see Prince next? What's the next
Where do you
move?
see Prince next?
Do we see Prince doing more things than what he's already doing? Do we see Prince everywhere around the world? I mean, they're most definitely. Where are you going from now?
From now?
Yeah, where do we see you next?
Oh man, that's a good question. Where do you see me?
I mean, like, in actual fact, because of those worldwide crisis and pandemic, like a lot of our dreams and goals have been shattered, right? Because we don't see, it's like some of us don't want to dream anymore because right now we're thinking, yo, the coronavirus is here and we don't know what to do. I don't feel like, dreaming because we might even die next. Do you still dream? Do you still think that, yo, we are gonna survive this and I'm still gonna do this and I'm still gonna go wherever I want to go?
Definitely, man. Like I'm still a dreamer, and artists, we're always dreamers,
Yes,
we use our imagination to travel wherever we want, and we also make sure that we put that imagination into reality, by making sure that our dreams come true by not giving up. So for me, this is just like a glitch in time, and that glitch is going to pass very soon, It's just like one page in a book, In my book, there's a lot of pages. And so I'm still turning the page. When I turn the page, that's a new chapter. And then this corona pandemic thing will probably be over. So the future is looking good for me. I'm still I'm still going to be going strong with the artists that I'm doing. And there's like a whole lot of good projects coming out, like in the I don't want to give it away now because that's like spoiling the surprise. So there's a lot of good projects coming out there, and it's gonna be big. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be insane.
Man.
It's not only about national level. We're trying to take it global level.
International, bruh.
International.
Hey, look. Question.
Yeah.
When we're talking about while we're on this, you ever think that you would want to go to Mars to paint?
Mars
or the moon?
No? That's actually a good question because I've always wanted to be in a spaceship and just see how space is like,
Yeah.
My mind always goes crazy because, I love Earth as well, but I just want to go out and just look at Earth from the outside.
Yes, sir.
Just see how it is. And
man.
Definitely.
That would be next level of dream chasing, man. That would be next level, bro.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I don't know. We'll see in like a couple of years' time if we can create like a shuttle to even the moon. It will be fun,
Yes,
I don't mind going to the moon because Mars is quite far. It takes quite a distance to get there. So
the moon you can go and come back.
Yeah, Mars you're not even sure because no one has gone there
yet.
Yeah. I don't wanna test myself by doing that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, I appreciate you so much. What's the message that you would want to leave with an artist or somebody that's listening to this and going through the most right now, or just want to dream again? What's the one message that you would want to leave them with?
The message I would like to leave is that, don't give up on your dream. Like, keep on doing what you're doing. If you're passionate about it, I promise you, God is going to be helping you along the way because He's always watching you. And because He's watching you, there's always someone out there who's waiting to give you that opportunity, so that you can actually explore the world and, live your passion and your dream. So keep on working at it, no matter how long it takes, keep on working at it. And there will be that break, that one big break that will, put you on the map, for you to enjoy your hard work. So keep on working hard and don't give up, don't lose hope. Even if we're in a pandemic situation, don't give up. Keep on going strong and everything will be all right. Just like Bob Marley said, everything will be all right. So that's what I would like to leave with the viewers and the listeners out there. Just keep on going strong and keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be all right. Because your chapter, your bright chapter, is just on the next page.
Yes,
so it's just about just turning that page and experiencing it, and not giving up.
Yo, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me. Look forward to many more interviews to come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We still have to do. We'll go to the moon together, my guy. I'm also gonna go and paint.
Definitely. Do
Yo,
another
man.
show on the moon there.
Live, man. We're going live. We're gonna be broadcasting live on
Live
Facebook.
on the moon.
Yo, man. Thank you so much, man. Yo, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Give it up for Prince Sigudu, who is an artist, man, doing the most right now. This is On Call with Danile, and I'll see you on the next episode. Let's go.